Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 9 Mile Swamp. Maggie and Millie and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day. And Maggie discovered a shell that sang so sweetly she couldn't remember her troubles. And Millie befriended a stranded star whose rays 5 languid fingers were. And Molly was chased by a horrible thing which raced sideways while blowing bubbles. And May came home with a smooth, round stone, as small as a world and as large as a loan. For whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves that we find in the sea. E. Cummings. Love is the answer. We get so right. You in my memory. You here with me. One and one make true. Wait and see. The cold days, summer at last. Love is the answer. Time goes so fast. You in my memory. was called Wait and See. And we opened up with a poem by E. Cummings. I'd like to read another short poem now, because we're on this sort of theme of water sports and so forth. And this was written by one of my favorite poets, Philip Booth. And I think one of the reasons why I love this so much is because it reminds me of my daughter a little bit. And I think about her when I read this poem. It's called First Lesson. Lie back, daughter. Let your head be tipped back in the cup of my hand, gently, and I will hold you. Spread your arms wide. Lie out on the stream and look high at the gulls. A dead man's float is face down. You will dive and swim soon enough where this tide water ebbs to the sea. Daughter, believe me, when you tire on the long thrash to your island, lie up and survive. As you float now, where I held you and let go, remember when fear cramps your heart what I told you. Lie gently and wide to the light year's stars. Lie back, and the sea will hold you. Just beautiful.
I sure do miss our quoting days with Kate.
Yeah.
Our daughter Kate.
Yeah. What do we have on the song list here?
Wait, I just dropped my glasses. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. Our next song is called On the Border. And this is a song I wrote in the middle of the winter, sitting at my desk with the fan blowing through the remnants of the hair that I still had, dreaming about being on the beach in the summertime, and how I look forward to getting out on the water all winter long. Sometimes I go out and say hello to my boat.
and out in its cover back there.
Yeah. We talked for a while. This is called On the Border. Probably said that right. Here we go. Chords fall from a sweet guitar, dreaming songs that make me sigh. Sea breeze that surrounds me whispers softly, tells us where we are, makes me feel alright. Border of the water, sky, and the ocean sand, we sit together side by side. Then in a while, the edges fade into white and tan. It feels so right. As the music plays, the sun warms your senses, close your eyes. Sounds of the guitar, of the wind and the ocean spray, and the seabirds' haunting cry. On the border of the water, sky, and the ocean sand, we sit together side by side. Then in a while, the edges fade into white and tan. It feels so right. sand. We sit together, side by side. Then in a while, the edges fade into white and tan. It feels so right. Sinking in a daydream as the chords fall from a sweet guitar. Dreaming songs that make me sigh. A pencil and some paper, a table chair, and this old guitar. Still standing by. Wow.
Nice, baby.
On the board, yeah, I love that last note. That was a special trick I had there.
So
Okay.
say hello to Michael
Hey, Michael, how are you?
and to Ruthie and Finn
Hi, Ruthie. Hi, Finn. Woof.
and to Joe, Gilio.
Hi, Joe. How are you? Great show today, Joe.
Yes.
And thank you for mentioning us.
And Mom.
And Mom. Hi, Mom.
And Janice and Abby.
Hey, welcome back from Mexico.
Yeah, and I don't
Glad
know
to
if
see
I
you back safe.
missed anybody, but if you are watching and I didn't mention you and you would like me to, you can jot us a little note and then I'll be able to see that you're there.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
this is one of my favorite songs on one of my favorite topics.
Uh-oh.
SEX.
I was going to say,
Okay.
you're allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Are you ready, Gar?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's just as easy as 4, 5, and 6 when you are playing each sexy love trick. You're taking pleasure as I run faster. I slip and falter, sweet song disaster. Running you down across a field of ice. Catching you would be so warm and so nice. Turning your pretty back to me, baby. Thinking that you could outrun me, baby. One, two, three, four, was called Julia in Running Shoes. That song is in 4/4, 5/4, and in 6/4. So if it sounded strange to you at any point, it kind of was a little bit, but that's not a bad thing. This next song is another Julia song. That was called Julia in Running Shoes. This one is called Julia Left. Are you ready, my love?
I am. I think I see Mark Hotailing watching.
All right. Hey, Mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. Julia left. I forgot a lot of the words. And you know what's really funny about that? I forgot the lyrics are up on the music stand. Okay, this goes into the, sometimes we do a thing where if we really screw up a song, we are condemned to have to play the song correctly in the following week. So I expect to hear Julia Left next week. This next song is a song that I wrote with a really great bass player. He's still playing in Florida. He plays for the old folks now. And he's an old folk. It's funny how all these old folks are playing for old folks. A few of my friends do that. Greg Ellis does it, and my friend Steve Friedman. Anyway, Steve Friedman and I co-wrote this song. It's called Over the Mountain. All right, we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll see fine. Here we go. And out on the plains, there is my country girl. I just found out her name. This can't be wrong, 'cause this melody is coming on so strong, so strong. Her voice is like a summer breeze that's blowing through my hair. Oh, I only see it once, I hear it everywhere, and I know I'll be hearing it everywhere I go, where I go. Has brought about a change. I sang it on the mountaintop against the driving rain. Unless I'm wrong, well, the sun came out to hear this song, hear this song. Over a mountain and out on plains, there is my country girl. I just found out her name. This can't be wrong, 'cause this melody coming on so strong, so strong. Over the mountain.
These for you.
Yeah, yeah. Lyrics, look at that. How about that? Amazing. Oh, you know what? I am going to switch guitars, though. I think that's a nice time to do that.
Okay.
I can use my cool little new Martin that I'm loving so much.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, we can announce some other shows that people can
Wherever
listen
that
to.
guitar, wherever I may have left that guitar.
It's not on the
I'll be
guitar
back.
stand.
I'm still here.
So Sundays at 2 o'clock, you can catch Joe Giglio on his Facebook page. And let's see, on Mondays we have Margie Zintz plays on Monday late afternoon. Lara Hope plays Monday nights, I think around 7. And Mark Delgado, fine singer-songwriter, has started doing a show now on Thursdays at 8 o'clock on Facebook. And there's always our friend Craig Ellis, who plays not on Facebook, but on a platform called streetjelly.com. And he's on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. So we have our alarms set for all of these shows to go off to remind us to put them on. So
and this is my cute little guitar. It's small and comfortable to hold, lightweight. And it sounds good.
Yeah.
Of course. All right. This is called The Tether of Life. Without love, where would we be? Just so many when the waves are high and there's eyes we can't see. Love's the hull of oak we can trust constantly. We just need to remember we are all one family. It's the tether of life that sets us free. When the sun is out and it shines on the sea, love gives us the courage to explore endlessly. It's how we discover what we most want to be. It's the tether of life that sets us free. And love's enough. Love sets us free. It's the tether of life that sets us free. Love plants the flower, and love plants the tree. It's the tether of life that sets us free. All right. I have a couple of poem things for you tonight that are kind of interesting. I wanted to do Shadow Bride, which is a song, a melody written by Stephen Alton, who's a really good friend of mine. Who's when I was young, he taught me how to fingerpick, and the lyrics for that song are by J.R.R. Tolkien. So I wanted to make a connection between some 19th century things that happened in the 19th century and how that affected Tolkien to some extent. So I'm going to start out by reading a poem called "The Fairies" by William Allingham, and then I'm going to show you that William Allingham and William Morris were friends and were very aware of what each other was doing in the realm of stories about fairyland and stories that were fairy tales that they were going to turn into adult type stories. And I'll show you that connection between Allingham and William Morris and J.R.R. Tolkien. So that's the purpose of this. Plus, it's fun. It's more fun than trying to figure out what things are about, or having someone tell you what they mean, right? I suppose. So this is called Fairies, and they say, it has been said about Fairies by William Allingham, is that it was immensely popular, and it was one of the things that started the English craze with fairies that finally led up to Peter Pan and various things, but fairies in art and fairies just as a popular icon in the 19th century. And this reads a little bit like the way poems in Tolkien, by the way, because of its meter and rhyme. The Fairies by William Allingham. Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men. Wee folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and a white owl's feather. Down along the rocky shore, some make their home. They live on crispy pancakes of yellow tide foam. Some in the reeds of the black mountain lake, with frogs for their watchdogs all night awake. High on the hilltop, the old king sits. He is now so old and gray, he's high lost his wits. With a bridge of white mist, Columbill he crosses on his stately journeys from Sleeveleague to Ross's, or going up with the music on cold, starry nights to sup with the queen of the gay northern lights. They stole little Bridget for 7 years long. When she came down again, her friends were all gone. They took her lightly back between the night and morrow. They thought she was fast asleep, but she was dead with sorrow. They have kept her ever since, deep within the lake, on a bed of fig leaves, watching till she wake. By the craggy hillside, through the mosses bare, they have planted thorn trees for my pleasure, here and there. Is any man so daring as dig them up in spite? He shall find their sharpest thorns in his bed at night. Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go hunting for fear of little men. We folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and a white owl's feather. William Allingham, a famous Irish poet and also a diarist. He wrote diary entries about so many of 19th century artists that he met, so his diaries are of immense interest. And what I have here is this is a first edition of William Morris's poem, Sigurd the Volsung, 1876. And in the front of it, Morris rarely did he sign books, but he signed this one and signed it to a friend, and you can read the inscription inside of it. It says, to his friend William Allingham, from William Morris, or his friend William Morris. Yes, from his friend William Morris. So I want to, now that we've tied Allingham and Morris together, I want to tie Morris and Tolkien together a little bit. And if you've read The Lord of the Rings, or if you've seen the movies, you know that Aragorn's famous sword is the sword that was broken. And it is reforged, and when it's reforged, it has certain magical properties. Well, so it is in Morris's 1876 story, which he takes from mythology, where the sword that was broken is forged together again and it develops magic properties. Now, about these magic properties, first of all, it took the elf to forge it. It took him 3 times to get it right. I'm only going to read you a little passage where he gets it right. And I haven't seen in the story that the sword has any magical properties, but I will say this, that as the sword is on his horse, when he approaches the love of his life, Brynhild, he hasn't even met her yet, the sword itself begins to throb. So apparently that's its magical property. Doesn't sound so magical to me, but there you have it. So this is the dwarf Regan bringing back the sword that was broken after his 3rd attempt to repair it. And this time he was successful. And he hails Sigurd and he gives him the sword. And you'll see that sort of connection with Tolkien a little bit, I think. Hail, son of the Volsungs! The cornerstone is laid, I have toiled, and thou hast desired, and lo, the fateful blade. Then Sigurd saw it lying on the ashes, slaked and pale, like the sun and the lightning mingled mid the even's cloudy bale. For ruddy and great were the hilts, and the edges fine and wan, and all adown to the blood point a very flame there ran, that swallowed the runes of wisdom, wherewith its sides were scored. No sound did Sigurd utter as he stooped adown for his sword, but it seemed as his lips were moving with speech of strong desire. White leapt the blade o'er his head, and he stood in the ring of its fire, as hither and thither it played, till it fell on the anvil's strength. And he cried aloud in his glory, and held out the sword full length, as one who would show it the world, for the edges were dulled no whit, and the anvil was cleft to the pavement with the dreadful dint of it. Mm-hmm. If anybody ever tells me again that this epic is boring, I'm going to get one of those swords. Okay, so that brings us to Shatterbright. And a little Tolkien for you. This is from the Tolkien Reader. And it was set to music by my friend Stephen Altman. and it's kind of it's a graveyard ghost story. The legend of the Shadow Bride is that, and this is outside of Tolkien's poem. The legend of the Shadow Bride is that these two lovers are buried with their tombstones close together, and once a year the shadows on the tombstones cross, and they come out of their graves and dance. I hope it's a night when I'm not there. But this is called Shadow Bride. There was a man who dwelt alone. His days and nights when past, he sat as still as carved in stone, and yet no shadow cast. The White House perched upon his head beneath a winter's moon, wiped their beaks and thought him dead beneath the stars of June. There came a lady clad in gray, all in the twilight shining. One moment she would stand and stay, her hair with flowers entwining. He woke as had he sprung from stone, and broke the spell that bound him. Clasped her fast, both flesh and bone, and wrapped her shadow round him. Walks her ways, neath sun nor moon nor star. She dwells below where neither days nor any nights there are. But once a year when caverns yawn and hidden things awake, they dance together then till dawn, and a single shadow make. You're welcome. I was just thinking, you know what? Let's do instead of doing Louise, which is a lovely song, and it was our only cover song tonight. You want to do Evensong? How's that sound to you?
Sure.
Okay. This is a lyric by William Morris from a book called The Roots of the Mountains. And it's sung by two groups of people. It's theatrical, and one group of people are men, and they're going to war, and the other group are women who know they're going to war, but they play this little game of what are you doing with your armor on.
This Fair Before.
At the end of the song, Fair Before. Oh, you're right. Oh, sure. We're not doing that one.
No,
okay.
you're doing Even Song.
We're doing Even Song. Okay, Even Song. We're doing a song about this young shepherd who, in a sort of adoring way, makes fun of his shepherdess because she's very masculine in many ways. She's been out tending the sheep, and she's calloused and tough and brown skinned.
In the sun.
And in the sun. Art thou man, art thou made through the long grass a-going? The short shirt thou bearest, and no beard I see. And the last wind ere moonrise about thee is blowing. Wilt thou meet with thy maiden, or look'st thou for me? Bright shineth the moon now, I see thy gown longer. Down by the hazels, Joan meeteth her lad. But hard is thy palm, lass, scarcely were stronger. What skip and thy hand kiss that maketh me glad. And now as the candles shine on us and over, full shapely thy feet are, but brown on the floor. As the barefooted mowers amidst of the clover, when the gulf's note is broken and June is o'er. And will I follow thee till the earth waneth away? Yes, I will follow thee. Oh, hard are my hand palms, because on the ridges I carried the reap hook and smote for thy sake. And in the hot noontide I swept off religions, as thou stepp'st 'neath the linden, or low to awake. And brown are my feet, because the sun burneth high up on the downside amidst of the sheep. And there in the hollow where from the wind turneth, thou lay'st in mine arms while I sang thee to sleep. And will I follow thee till the earth waneth away? Yes, I will follow thee. Oh, friend of the earth, come nigher and nigher. Thou art sweet with the sun's kiss as meads of the May. O'er the rocks of the waste, o'er the water and fire, will I follow thee, love, the earth waneth away. They all said Louise was not half bad. I can do it after all. It was written on the walls and window shades. Then how she'd act, the little girl. The deceiver, don't believe her, that's her trade. Sometimes a bottle of perfume, flowers and maybe some lace. Men brought Louise 10th century gifts. Their intentions were easily traced. Everybody knew at times she cried. Ah, but women like Louise, they get by. Everybody thought it kinda sad when they found Louise in her room. They'd always put her down below their kind. Still some cried when she died this afternoon. Louise rode home on the mail train, somewhere to the south, I heard them say. Too bad it ended so ugly. Too bad she had to go that way. But the wind is blowing cold tonight. Good night, Louise, good night. Thank you so much for joining us in the 9 Mile Swamp. It's been our pleasure playing for you tonight, and we'll see you next Sunday night.
Yes. Thanks again. We are so grateful to have you. We appreciate your comments. We'll check them out later. Go to our website, kurthenry.com or dognoseband.com. That's dognose, K-N-O-W-S. You have CDs there. Stay safe.